Hey everybody, welcome back. Now, I had originally started this series, The 5 Core Practices of Spirituality, but I'm choosing not to continue making videos for that series. And I'll explain why later in this video, and that is the topic of today's video. But I just want to quickly add the 3 remaining topics were self-talk, mindful awareness, and being still. Now, the reason I have decided to not continue making videos in that series is because I really was conceptualizing what spirituality is. I was thinking about it from my mind, and it's not about conceptualizing spirituality. It's not about how spiritual can I get, or how spiritual can I become, or doing this activity will make me a spiritual being, and not doing this and not doing this activity makes me not a spiritual being. And I was really caught up in trying to get it right, because if I got it right, that means I was spiritual. So if I was meditating daily, and if I was practicing stillness, and if I was monitoring the way I was talking to myself, and if I was practicing compassion and practicing gratitude, that means I was being spiritual, right? And I really thought about that, and I was like, that's not at all what spirituality is. Spirituality does not mean you have to talk, walk, think, express yourself in a certain way. Spirituality is everything. Spirituality is self-expression. And how you choose to express spirituality is completely different than somebody else. And there is no specific way to be spiritual, or there is no specific way to be a spiritual being. Spirituality is however you want to define it. That's it. And I got really caught up in the idea of trying to define spirituality and trying to tell myself, yes, I'm a spiritual being if I'm doing X, Y, and Z. And I realized that's kind of like looking at it in the approach of the ego. The ego wants results. The ego wants to categorize things. The ego wants to label things. And I really lost touch of what it really meant to operate from your heart center, from your highest self. And that's the reason I'm bringing this video to you today. And I am deciding to not continue telling you or telling myself what I think is the 5 core practices of spirituality, because you know what? There are no core practices to spirituality. Spirituality can be anything. It could be running, it could be playing soccer, it can be meditating if that's what works for you, it can be journaling, it could be expressing yourself through your clothes, through your makeup, the way you wear your hair. Spirituality is everything. And I really have understood that it's so important that whatever you are doing, that it comes from a place of authenticity, and it comes from a place of truth. And if that's how you're operating your life, from a place of authenticity and living out your truth, then that in itself is spirituality. That in itself is being spiritual. I hope by me sharing my own experience and how I was trying to label and categorize myself and say, oh, I'm spiritual, I wouldn't do that. That is just me limiting myself. That is me just putting myself in a box. And the whole point of life is to get outside of the box, to not limit yourself, to live out your highest potential. And whatever that means for you, it's 100% okay. It's 100% real, because it's true for you. And it doesn't matter if it's not true for anybody else, because you're not living in the other person's shoes. You're not living in the other person's body. You're living in your body. Therefore, you have to live in your body, and you have to live your truth and live what is authentic to you, whatever that entitles. Spirituality is being authentic, being truthful to who you are, and living your life from your heart center, your soul, your spirit. That's what spirituality really is. And how you live your life doesn't really matter, as long as you're being authentic to who you are and you're being true to who you are. I hope that by me sharing this message, you will drop all reasons why you aren't spiritual, because at the end of the day, you are. Regardless of how you choose to practice spirituality and how you choose to express it, You are spiritual. There is no set way of doing it. There's no set way of being spiritual. And I invite you to just stop judging yourself for not being spiritual or not being spiritual enough, because there's no such thing. That's all ego. The ego thinks you're never good enough, you're never this enough. So drop it and just welcome a room to live from authentic expression and live from who you are at your heart center. Spirituality is everything. Spirituality is being an active participant in your life. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and that it made you think. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Have a great day. Bye.